Castor and Pollux, the Dioscuri, were twin half-brothers in Greek and Roman mythology. Their mother, Leda, had two different fathers for them. Castor was the mortal son of King Tyndareus, while Pollux was the divine son of Zeus who had raped Leda in the form of a swan. Interestingly, they are an example of heteropaternal superfecundation. Their birth was shrouded in myth and legend. Some believe that they were born from an egg, which also hatched their twin sisters, Helen of Troy and Clytemnestra. The twins were also known as the Gemini or Castors, in addition to the Tyndaridi or Tyndarids in Latin. As time passed, Pollux couldn't bear the thought of living without his twin brother. He begged Zeus to share his immortality with Castor, so they could stay together always. Zeus, moved by his son's request, transformed the twins into the constellation Gemini. Castor and Pollux became known as patrons of sailors, appearing as St. Elmo's fire to guide ships through rough seas. They were also associated with horsemanship, as they originated as the Indo-European horse twins. Despite being immortalized in the stars, Castor and Pollux remain symbols of brotherly love and loyalty. Their story continues to inspire and captivate people to this day. Castor and Pollux admired three women, Leucippades, Phoebe, and Heliera, and desired to marry them. Unfortunately, the women were already betrothed to Castor and Pollux's cousins, Lynceus and Idas. Despite this, the brothers didn't give up on pursuing the women and they ultimately decided to kidnap them and take them to Sparta where they each had a son. This act of abduction led to a family feud between the two sets of cousins that would ultimately lead to revenge. Idas and Lynceus stole Castor and Pollux's cattle when they were duped into giving up their portion of the meat. The brothers allowed their cousins to keep the herd but vowed for revenge. The feud came to a head when Helen of Troy was kidnapped by Paris. Castor and Pollux set out to steal their cousin's cattle while they were alone with Helen, but Idas and Lynceus discovered what was happening. Castor was fatally wounded in an ambush by Idas, but Pollux managed to kill Lynceus in the ensuing brawl. As Idas was about to kill Pollux, Zeus intervened and saved his son by hurling a thunderbolt. Zeus then granted Pollux the choice of spending all his time on Mount Olympus or giving half his immortality to his mortal brother, Castor. Pollux opted for the latter, which allowed the twins to alternate between Olympus and Hades. They became the two brightest stars in the constellation, Gemini, recognized as symbols for immortality in death. The Dioscuri, also known as Castor and Pollux, were two brothers who had a complex and contradictory mythology regarding their parentage. Castor was the son of Leda and Tyndareus, while Pollux was fathered by Zeus. This explained why they were granted alternate immortality. However, the figure of Tyndareus also entered their tradition to explain their archaic name Tyndaridi in Spartan inscriptions. This caused incompatible accounts of their parentage. Some sources claimed they were both mortal men, while others portrayed them as divine beings. Despite their contradictory mythology, the Dioscuri were seen as helpers of humanity. They protected travelers and sailors and had the patronage of athletic contests as they were noted horsemen and boxers. They were often called upon to seek favorable winds in waters. The brothers intervened when moments of crisis arose and aided those who trusted or honored them. Their sisters, Timandra, Phoebe, and Philono, were also well-known figures in Greek mythology. Together, the siblings formed an inseparable bond that lasted through war and tragedy. In fact, their death and shared immortality offered by Zeus became a material of the lost Cypria in the epic cycle. Despite their complex and contradictory mythology, the Dioscuri remained a beloved symbol of brotherhood and loyalty in ancient Greece. Their story is a testament to the power of familial bonds and the unbreakable spirit of those who believe in something greater than themselves. Castor and Pollux were two Greek mythological figures who were known to have an ambiguous parentage. While Homer initially portrayed them as ordinary mortals, in later accounts by Hesiod and the Odyssey, they were described as the sons of Tyndareus and Leda. However, in Pindar's version of the story, Pollux was the son of Zeus, while Castor was the son of the mortal Tyndareus. Despite their mortal lineage, the Dioscuri were believed to have earned honors equal to that of the gods, thanks to the intervention of Zeus. The two brothers lived alternate days, in keeping with this arrangement. These details were invoked by Alcaeus in Fragment 34a, while Euripides portrayed the two in plays such as Helen and Electra. Simonides of Ceos once composed an ode celebrating Scopa's victory in a chariot race, and in it, he devoted too much space to praising Castor and Pollux. Scopas was displeased with this, and he rebuked Simonides. Shortly after, Simonides was summoned to speak to two young men, and when he left the banquet at which Scopas and his guests were present, the roof caved in and crushed them all. This incident is considered part of the legend of Castor and Pollux and continues to fascinate people today.
Do you want to explore more Greek mythology stories? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.